All right, we are live. As welcome back to the Browns post game reaction. As my man Mike Antonace and I react to another Browns loss. What do you know? Yeah. Um. I don't know, Mike. What's your initial reaction? I guess after today's game. I mean, it's kind of the same old. Defense
Yeah.
sucks. Special
Our
team
defensive
sucks.
tackles are horrible.
Um.
The
We're
quarterback
limited.
is
Yeah, we're limited at quarterback.
yeah.
Kind of the same
Um,
old stuff.
no one's afraid of the pass, so they stack an 8-man box in there. And the past 4 weeks, it's just been killing the run game.
Hmm.
Like we saw it last week at Miami. They just copy and pasted it here. Nick Chubb can't get anything going, but we had him involved in the pass game a little bit. He had a couple really nice plays, but yeah, until Deshaun comes back, I don't think we're no one's scared of the pass. I mean, it gives you something to look forward to with Deshaun coming back because you're going to have to respect the pass, and not just that, but the quarterback can run,
Hmm.
and actually run for some yards, like kind of that Lamar Jackson. Except I think he's a bit better passer than Lamar. Um,
And his
but
last year in Houston, he was probably the best play extender in the league that year. If you go look at the
oh yeah,
highlights, the shit he was doing that year,
it was
uh,
insane.
yeah, it was insane with that bad of a team too. But 4,000 yards. I mean, but
But
yeah, I mean, I think. I mean, I will say I'm glad they competed hard at the end. Not that it really matters, but I mean, he still lost because maybe in the middle of the game though they were just they just looked flat, which is surprising. I thought they would have a puncher's chance today due to the circumstances the Bills had to travel there with. I mean, you had guys digging out their car yesterday morning, uh,
yeah,
walking in waist deep, a
I
half
thought the
quarter
defense.
mile.
Yeah, I thought the defense actually played well in the first half, believe it or not. Like I thought they were holding up well until the Bills realized, oh wait, we can run the ball. They have the worst run defense in the league.
In the league.
Yeah, if you have a running back on your roster, you can run all over this team. And
I feel like the game shifted when Brissett botched the snap
yeah, I felt that too.
because I
And
felt
I
like
don't know if that was Brissett as much as it was because
well,
Ethan Posich was out. It was what the hell is his name?
Frohold
Hjalpe
or
Frohold.
yeah,
Yeah,
whatever his name is.
Hjalpe. Um,
Yeah, who was our third string? He's not even really a center either. He's just a
yeah, he's a
guard.
guard.
So that didn't
But
help. But
I mean, it's the same old. Like at this point, I just want to see the Browns. Like I know we don't want to be that team, and I don't want us to be that team that you know fires people in the middle of the season anymore. But like at the same time, it's like, can things get any worse if we fire Joe Woods and Mike Prefer? Like I don't think they can get worse.
I mean,
Like
who's on their staff that could get a chance? Let me look it
so,
up.
our linebackers coach was the defensive coordinator for the Raiders for like a couple of years. He could call
Hmm.
plays there, and then special teams is special teams. Just promote one of your offensive guys, but or
Hmm.
like Cali or somebody.
Because let me look at the defensive staff.
The linebackers
Um,
coach actually like the court was a DC.
yeah, I got Cali. Let me look. Defense. Defense. Okay. Oh, you talking about the linebackers coach?
Yeah,
Jason Tarver.
yeah, him. He actually he was the defensive coordinator for the Raiders. Now they weren't great, but like interim, like again, it can't get any worse. We are seeing what happens when you go from average defensive tackles with a great defense around it to
Hmm.
bottom of the barrel. Like legitimately, like out of all defensive tackles rated, we have the bottom two in Tommy Togiai and Jordan Elliott. Like
Hmm.
again, like it doesn't matter how good your linebackers are, it doesn't matter how good your edges are or how anybody else is. If your defensive tackles are getting pushed 5-6 yards up the field every play, and there's a hole that the running back can just, start to run downhill in, like it doesn't matter,
Right.
and it's going to be the
Yeah.
same thing every time. You
Yeah. I
know,
mean, what do they have to lose? Like, I agree with you. I think just from a morale standpoint, culturally, and we'll get to what Miles Garrett said after the game because I feel like that's going to be some fireworks all week. That's what you're going to hear about. Because what he said was right, but he's also putting pressure on the organization too.
he called out
Um,
the Joe Woods last week too.
yeah, but I think, yeah, I mean, give Jason Tar. I would even give the guy, the who's the other coach? I was like Jeff Howard, the passing game coordinator, defensive backs coach. He's a younger guy. You never know. The younger guy, you may hit. You could hit on it.
He was the defensive coordinator at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, why not give him a shot? I mean, the hell they have to. They got nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say, as Browns fans, like we know that.
Shout out to JL. He said, "Hey everyone, salute."
Hi,
to you.
JL.
Hold on, we got somebody else that hit the link. Uh-oh. He hit the link. There he is, Mike. Every time he tries to come on, his phone just goes out. He freezes. Okay. I don't know. He needs to come back in. But, no, yeah.
Tell him to come in the room with you. Just tell him to come upstairs.
No. He can stay down there. He can stay down there. And not enough space. I got the Cavs game off to the side too. It's 20-16.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw that last free throw. Yeah. Yeah, we're only down 5. We'll be all right.
Let me try. Okay, let's try this. There he is.
Fire them son of a bitches.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, but Mike Prefer, Joe Woods both got to go.
You're fired.
They got to go.
Hold on. I want to get to this. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, like, we got, there's a bunch of guys out there. Like, Brian Flores is an assistant on the Steelers. He'd love a DC job, I'm sure. Hire Brian Flores or hire Mike Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer.
Those are my 2 wants. It's like Brian Flores, Mike Zimmer. Either or. I don't care. Pick one of those guys.
Speaking of the Steelers, we watched that game, and then we turn it off, and then the Steelers come on, and it's a night and day difference between you're watching a team at 1:00 that had no heart. They never show any heart.
Mm-hmm.
Then you watch the Steelers, and you just watch the intensity they play with, the heart. You know what I mean? Just on the first drive. I mean, where they actually Cincinnati opened up on offense, but it was just a night and day difference, and that's coaching. The Browns just seem like they have no identity. It just seemed like a flat,
right?
Just like a bunch of them. They got no energy. They just have no heart.
I agree. And specifically the defensive side of the ball, because I would say the offense. I mean, offense continues. I mean, Jacoby Brissett had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like Kevin Stefanski has continued to prove, like, hey, I am an offensive genius. Like, I can scheme guys open. I can turn Baker Mayfield into a playoff quarterback. I can turn Jacoby Brissett into a starting level quarterback because, even though he's still very much a limited QB the whole season, I mean, I think we could all agree Jacoby Brissett hasn't played bad. Like,
he's exceeded my expectations.
He's exceeded mine.
Well, he's a hell of a lot better than the clown we had last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Can you imagine we had that goofball?
Right.
We wouldn't be competitive in the games. And
that should even go more towards like Stefanski's like resume, because it's like, look, Baker's gonna be out of the league, and like he won a playoff game with that cat. Like, I don't know. Like, we just need a DC that actually knows what he's doing, and also. This is a little bit of a failing on Andrew Berry, because I've been talking about the DTs. Joseph will tell you.
He botched it.
He messed it up.
He botched it. Yeah, he have to. But no, you listen to, like, I was listening to, what's his name? Garrett Bush after the game. I like watching G. Bush.
I love G. Bush.
But that's what everybody's talking about. That's what everybody's talking about on the post games right now. It's just, dude, how did you roll into the season with Jordan Elliott, Tommy Togiai, and who else?
Perrion Winfrey, Taven Bryan.
Taven Bryan, who was cut in Jacksonville.
We just signed that cat from the Miami practice squad, Ben Still.
I know who that is, but no disrespect. But I don't. Again, we're signing guys that aren't even starter. We don't have what starter do we have in the interior? None.
Yeah, but a lot of that though still is. Okay, look at the Patriots. They got a bunch of no names, but they're what, 5-6-4 now?
Well,
it's coaching.
Yeah, Belichick's an amazing defensive mind,
But you remember that stat that they put up at the beginning of the game, which I thought was mind-boggling. They're plus 23 in the first quarter, minus 23 by the fourth quarter, and it just. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just. go to shit the whole game, and it gets worse and worse and worse. That's terrible coaching. That's terrible coaching. And when I say they have no heart, that's coaching.
Yeah.
So if you're plus 23, it's two things. It's the teams are adjusting to them, but they're not adjusting back. They're not making game adjustments, and they're getting their ass kicked that way. But again, the players they become more and more flat as the game goes on. That's just terrible coaching. Mike, you know that just from being in the business we were in together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you got terrible leaders, you're never going to hit your goals. You're never going to, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Hell, we experienced that in my playing days growing up. Remember the teens where we started off a little rocky because we had too much going on, and then once we got our coaching settled, then things clicked. They took off.
Right. It's just the coach. I don't know who the hell needs. I mean, obviously, Joe Woods needs to go. That
Mike Prefer too.
Yeah, he needs to go.
I think the offense is fine. I think everybody, and honestly, you know, Stefanski made he made a dumb call. Like, he's not completely blameless in this, but like I feel like he isn't the main problem that needs to be sorted out. Because I feel like if our defense doesn't even have to be good. Like with how good our offense has been, our defense just has to be like mediocre, and we would have been like, you know, if we had the 16th ranked defense, right? Like I feel like we would have 3 more wins. You think?
Mike Dance, our buddy Dan, he said, Mike, stop with the Stefanski love. The dude went down the field on the first try of game like always and got a garbage time touchdown against prevent defense.
Oh, he's just a gloom and doom Browns fan. Dan doesn't actually know football.
Hey, Dan's another coach. Dan's seen it from a coaching perspective because he's a coach.
Hold on. Then he said, and by the way, Stefanski didn't win shit in the playoffs. He had COVID during the greatest Browns game played in the last decade. LOL. I mean, here, if somebody wants to criticize Stefanski, I don't think it's a problem. I wouldn't fire Stefanski. I want to see Stefanski with Watson.
Yeah.
And I want to see him. Now, however, he's on the clock. He don't get a pass because, like you said, when they come out. I mean, Buffalo, the guys are walking in waist-deep snow to get to the damn game. They had to dig out, and we showed up flatter than them. You would have thought we were in a damn blizzard the last 2 days.
That's terrible-ass coaching. It's just like you and I were talking about a little bit ago. He's got 6 games with a marquee quarterback. So let's see what happens.
And you're not playing against good teams down the stretch.
No.
And I'm not saying Stefanski should be fired. I'm not saying he should be fired yet.
But he's on the clock.
But again, he's the head coach. So at some point, the responsibility is going to fall on his shoulders. But you know, he's going to have the quarterback he wanted, a pretty talented quarterback. Let's see what that and a lot of assets around that guy. If he can't, if they don't look good those last 6 games, if they're not beating teams in most with that amount of talent and that quarterback, if they're not winning most of those last six games, that dude probably should be fired. You know what I mean? But certainly Joe Woods and Prefer and whoever the hell else. I mean, again, just there's no fire in that team. My gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the end of the game. I'm looking at the ticker. Gosh darn Patriots are 6-4 at a bunch of nobodies. Why? You know what I mean? Why? Because it's just good coaching. That guy's just winning games just by coaching alone.
He said Mike's smoking something that makes him love things like Kevin Stefanski, Baker Mayfield, and the Atlanta Falcons.
Wait, aren't the Falcons tied for first in that division? I'm pretty sure they are.
I know. TB's coming, dude.
TB's rolling now. That's over with. That's a wrap.
Did I watch them tune up that offensive line?
I still think Giselle got the Buccaneers offense in the divorce, but it's just me.
That dude's gonna go on a tear, man. Watch by the end of the season.
We'll see. I don't think so.
He doesn't have good receivers this year at all.
I think all those QBs are pretty much like we're seeing like the decline, like the Russell Wilsons, the Aaron Rodgers,
Russell Wilson's been a big disappointment. They gave him all that.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers too. Aaron Rodgers has been awful.
Could they get the rent a receiver win the sweepstakes for Odell Beckham for a playoff run?
Who the Bucks? No,
Bucks.
he narrowed it down. He wants to go be part of the Cowboys or the Giants. He already said.
Oh, is that right?
Not the Giants.
Mhm.
I heard the Chiefs. He's looking at the Chiefs.
I didn't see him mention the Chiefs. I follow him.
Oh no, he's looking at the Chiefs. He ain't going to the Giants.
I think he'll go to the Cowboys. Honestly,
He's looking at the Cowboys or the Chiefs. But if I'm Tom, give him a call. Why not?
Yeah, PB calls him. Shit. Who's gonna tell Tom Brady no?
Outside of Mike Evans, who's there? Mike Evans has had some iffy games this year.
Godwin's still hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, they haven't been consistent this year though. It hasn't been the same as it been in the past. Julio
But now,
Jones, he's on the back end.
Can the guy even play anymore? I mean, 2 ACLs. That's. I mean,
Well, I don't know. I mean, here he came back and looked pretty good though. I mean, the guy's a freak athlete. You can put him.
Isn't this
anywhere.
his third? Or is
No, he had
on the same knee.
second on the same knee? Didn't he have another injury though?
Remember he got hit in the preseason game here. That was a different. He said the Falcons. What did he say? The Falcons have lost 2 out of their last 3 games, and Tommy Two Socks is coming to Cleveland with 2 weeks to prepare for this soft ass defense. Yeah, no shit.
Right.
How many pass? Hey Dan, how many touchdown and passing yards do you think Tom's gonna have next week?
It's more like rushing yards. I don't know if they'll have a ton of passing touchdowns.
I don't know.
Once they realize they can run the ball.
They're gonna come out running the ball, and then Tom's just gonna start picking his spots. He's just gonna start shredding them. That's what he's gonna do. He's just gonna start dicing it up.
He's gonna make Joe Woods look like a fool. He's gonna outcoach Joe Woods from behind center.
Yeah, I mean Joe Woods he's awful. He's so bad.
I want to hit this though real quick. I'll get both your guys' take. Dan said, "What do you say? Tommy's going for 303 tutties against these overpaid prima donnas." Yeah, I agree. Hold on.
I think he's probably light on the yards.
I think 300. It depends how the weather is. If it's raining or you never know.
Yeah, well, okay, weather permitting. If it's decent weather, it's fine.
What do you guys think of this though? This is after the game from Myles Garrett. He said, "We have to make sure we don't waste the talent that we have in its prime right now." This is Myles Garrett saying this after the game. "We have to do our best with it. There are 7 more games that we can use the talent that we have all over the field and make the most out of it. We still have a lot of opportunities left to keep on fighting and put ourselves in position to go to the playoffs." I don't think you're going to the playoffs. Sorry, Myles. "It's not as much as in our hands as we want it to be, but it's definitely not out of the conversation yet." But the big part, though, is what he said right here at the beginning. We have to make sure we don't waste the talent that we have in its prime right now. And after the game, Myles sat over on the bench by himself for 20 minutes. So, and he said his comments last week as well. And then he made some other comments after the game today. He said basically guys aren't taking it serious in practice.
Joe Woods has completely lost the defensive locker room.
He said the guys aren't taking practice serious?
Pretty much. I'm going to go look up. He said, let me pull it up right here. But again, Myles Garrett is now putting pressure, as he should. I actually like it, to be honest with you. Somebody's going to do it. He said, "Lack of importance in practice on forcing turnovers." That was his quote.
Well, basically what he's saying is, fire this son of a bitch. I need a new leader. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And last week, remember, he said, Mike, you and I talked about it, Mike.
Yeah.
Remember, he said, what did he say? It doesn't matter if you're running. What did he say? It doesn't matter how. He said
it doesn't matter how hard you're running if you're running in the wrong direction.
Running in the wrong direction, yeah.
Good grief. That's all that dude is saying right there. Because if you say that, it brings attention to the coaching. And that's exactly what he's doing. There's nothing else it does but say, hey, my coach is blow and get me. I need a new leader. Everybody wants to be led. You know what I mean? Everybody wants and they got poor leadership there.
Hold on. Oh, Dan said if Myles Garrett thinks his team's going to the playoffs, he might have just been involved in another car accident. Yeah, I think Myles even knows they're not going to the playoffs. But
I mean, he's a leader. He's going to
say the right thing, but he knows they're not going to the playoffs. But I like what he's doing. I actually agree with that. Somebody's got to say it. It's just bullshit. Like somebody's got to call. Like, yeah, I mean, this is bullshit. We can't have this going on anymore. Trash coaching. And he's right. You got all this talent in its prime, and you're just going to let it go down the tubes. I mean,
Right.
think of how many years have they wasted? At one point in time, think of all the talent they've had. I know they didn't have a good quarterback, recent years, but still,
Yeah.
all the talent they've had, and that's all they have is one playoff win.
Yeah.
That's
I
bad
mean,
coach, bad. It
QB
comes
is
from
a
the
big
top.
part of it. Joe Woods is a big part of it.
Ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Can't change that. But
I mean, they hire the coaches. They pick the players.
I think oh, that was a bad foul. Sorry. I
you
got the
looking at the
Cavs game on too. I'm just
Yeah,
I'm looking up every now and then.
31-30 Cavs.
Yeah.
2-9. What's it? 9 minutes, 35 seconds left the second.
Yep.
This should be good. This should be a good one tonight against the Heat.
But yeah,
I don't know. I mean, what do you think they should do the rest of the year, Mike?
what I think they should do the rest of the year.
Yeah, like who do you think they should play more? Should David Bell be more involved because he's been every time they gave him, he had 5 targets today. I think he went 4
Right.
for 5.
David Bell is a big a name I would definitely want to see more. I want to see more. Hell, I don't even know what to like. That would be a nice thing. I at this point it's just I just want to see what it looks like when 4 is back, when D Watt's back. I mean,
let me ask you this: how should the rest of the year go for next year? Because it's like Dan said right here. He said might as well wait until next year to start Watson. The season is gone. He might as well learn the offense of this. What is?
Oh my God!
Of his actual head coach next year because it will be a good old Kev.
I'll be willing to put $10,000 that Kevin Stefanski is still the coach of the Browns next year.
Would you actually bet that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's gonna get a full. They went into this fully knowing that this was a possibility that Watson would miss most of the season, and a repercussion of that would maybe be going
I don't think
3-7.
realized. I don't think people. And this has been coming out recently. They initially, when they thought it was 6 games, they were okay with it.
Yeah.
When they went to 11 games, everybody in the organization behind the scenes was saying okay, there goes the season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Because if you look, they only had. Remember, I told you going into the season, why do they only have 2 tight ends on the roster? I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Well, it's because they have Watson. Well, as soon as they went to 11 games, they go out and sign Pharaoh Brown, who dropped a touchdown pass today.
Yep.
Yeah, but don't you think with all of the money they had, the type of players they have, they should have won more games? There's teams they should have beat.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. The defense dropped 3 games.
They blew the Jets game was the ultimate debacle.
Yeah,
should have won that game. Should have beat the Falcons. Really.
Yeah.
The Chargers game was given to you. The Patriots earned that game. They just they could have won the Ravens game. Yeah, I mean that's what 1, 2, 3, 4 games right there.
Well, even that. Okay, I was at that Patriots game. That alone, the way you lost at home against the Patriots, I mean that was despicable. It's just I don't know if that dude's there next year. I don't. You know what it depends on? Who's available.
I mean, Kevin is. I mean, he came here for Kevin's offense. That was a big part of it, and obviously the contract was a big thing too. But Kevin's going to get a full season with Deshaun Watson, and whatever happens from there.
What
happens,
I'm saying is, if someone else becomes available, if they feel is an upgrade, his ass is launched out the door.
I just don't see who would even be comparable. It would have to be a known name. You know what I mean? They're not just going to hire somebody. You know what I mean?
I didn't know. That's what I'm saying. It depends I'm just saying if there's an upgrade that they feel like there's an upgrade out there. I'm just saying the dude hasn't done enough to hold his job. I mean, if you look at some of the things that went on this year, it's horrible. I don't care that they haven't had Watson or not. They have clearly underperformed.
You've seen teams.
And they've gotten worse as the season. What they say, they lost 6 out of 7 in the last games.
Yeah, and you've seen team. Here's where I would actually start to trend towards that when I watch these games. When you watch other games in the league, there's other teams out there that have backup quarterbacks. They're in a kind of similar situation we're in. but they actually show up and compete each week. They're pulling out games that they really shouldn't be winning. We haven't done that at all.
And that's all coaching.
Yeah, usually you show up and at least make it competitive. We're not even doing that. It's like after the first quarter, we just mailed in like, oh shit, we're not up. I mean, we're done this week.
But if they knew, okay, we're going to throw. We know we're not doing shit this season. Why doesn't Stefanski just fire those coaches now?
That's
right.
I don't know if that's like the professional thing, because me and Joseph were talking about that before you got on here. Because like we were talking about, like it can't get any worse. You might as well fire Joe and Mike now, like, and have the interims in, whatever.
I don't care. But I mean, if you would have said that a month ago, I would agree. When you did say that a month ago about the professional thing. But now that I think about, hold on, I'm looking at Mitchell here. Now that I think about it, you have the green light to do it now. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean,
it's anything you do it to shut your fans up.
I would.
This Chetty Osmond makes the layup.
You do it just to please your fans.
That was a good play. I just saw it.
They're on a 12-0 run. But we got some comments I got to get to real quick. Dan said, Mike, I bet you had $10,000, but I think you still owe me $13 from your last Wayne Warehouse order in 2018.
The last time I got wings was when you let me and Billy leave early to go drink at 6 o'clock.
We got all
we had to do, you ordered in a classic Dan fashion, you wanted fried avocado bites, which is something that an old 40-year-old hipster would order, like Dan. And what else did he order? I'm trying to remember. We had to bribe him. He let us leave 2 hours early to go and drink. We just had to.
We got one for you, Dad. Jeremy said, "My daddy."
Oh my god.
My daddy.
And then he said,
Daddy says
Stefanski needs to let someone else call the plays.
I don't know if that's an issue.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Stefanski's a hell of a play call, right? I mean,
I don't think the offense is the issue. Offense isn't the issue.
I think Stefanski is a pretty good play caller. And sometimes he looks like a hell of a play caller.
Like he makes mistakes, have moments.
But... Yeah, I mean, he makes mistakes. I think if Stefanski was an offensive coordinator like he was in Minnesota, he'd be great, like he was. I mean, I don't.
Well, you wonder is he limited? Is
his mistake was he brought in a new defensive coordinator. That's his mistake.
Well, yeah, but the type of offense he runs, I mean, everybody needs a good quarterback. But I mean, does he, for what he's doing, does he got to have at least, a solid quarterback? I mean, for what is his offense limited with a guy that runs a 8-second 40? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think his playbook's definitely limited based on who we have under center, and even then, he's made Jacoby look better than he's ever looked. Like here's
the only time I question Stefanski's play calling. It's like today. Remember, it was like second and inches. And
his situational play calling can be a little messy sometimes.
Why don't you just sneak the ball there? Here's my only issue with this whole thing is how heavy involved are the analytics, because they run analytics heavy there, like probably more than most places. And they said that when they hired all these people. Okay, cool. Analytics is information, but remember, was it the thing, Mike? Mike, you remember reading that where they said when they do the probability and the play calling, they're using like the analytics probability or something like that?
Yeah,
it was like it was back when they hired him 2 years ago. You can go look it up if anybody out there watching. I kind of question that, because sometimes it's just kind of like when you're watching it, you're like a smart football play on second and inches when you're right there. All he has to do is catch the snap and take a step forward, which he's been doing all year, and there was nobody over the center.
Right?
Isn't that the smart? No, we handed off to Nick Chubb on a little running off tackle, and he gets tackled for a loss of 4 yards. So how much of that was analytics? That's my only concern with Kevin Stefanski. I think with Kevin Stefanski, most of the time he's called a balanced game. Now, sometimes I think the team overall just gets flat. I think it's more of a mental thing. They just start.
Okoro hit 2 threes.
Yeah, he started hitting the corner 3 more.
Well, yeah, but like I said, we were watching a game though. They've been running. It's just QB sneak all year long. I mean, at some point.
Oh, it's been automatic, but
they know it's coming. I know, but at some point the defenses know it's coming.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you remember that play? I was sitting there next to you, and it was wide open. I'm like, just get the first down. Like sometimes you just got to be a football mind and just get the first down, keep the chains moving.
Right.
Yeah.
But I
agree with
remember
that.
when they hired these guys, that was my only concern. You can't go full heavy analytics, too heavy. There's got to be like a football IQ to this.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. I don't know. Now the later in the game, because hold on, we got another. Lynch said Bills were stacking the line, waiting for a sneak. Now that was later in the game. I'm talking about earlier in the game. This was in the second quarter. It was a 2nd and 1 on the 40-yard line.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
it was
excited.
wide open. It was
I'm
literally
excited
the ball was on the damn first down marker where it was being snapped from. He literally just had all you do is hike it and take a step. It don't matter if they're right there or not. It's that.
Then just here, you can't get players motivated or fired up, I should say, with analytics.
No.
If you're saying no, you're right. What you're saying is if they are relying on analytics, just to say 90% of what they do is just based on analytics, that's no wonder they play flat.
Right.
I mean, I can show you all the data in the world. Jeremy and Mike, I could show you all the ups you take. I can show you your demo percentage. I can show you your write-up percentage. I could show you all that if I just print it and show it to you. But I never talk to you. You're not going to improve. You know what I mean? It's the same damn thing. It's just data. Data doesn't get somebody, especially in a game in that kind of sport. It just goes back to coaching. They should be winning games.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. That's why I wonder when you look at they're getting out coached. I'm like, is this guy looking at analytics? Because when you watch some of these other coaches like Belichick, and all these organizations, I know some of the media people out there to try to act smart because that's all they use is analytics. They've never played a down of football in their life. That's how they get involved in this. But anyways, it's good information. I'm not saying you don't use it. You use it. But do you think Bill Belichick's sitting there on like a 2nd and 1 or a situational play going, gee, it says 40% chance we get this? No, he's looking at he's doing what he prepped all week, looking at the film. Because Belichick's watching hours of film. That's what he does. He's on the treadmill eating his oatmeal. That's what he's known for. And that's what he's calling the plays off. A football IQ, a football mind. And then sometimes I wonder when you look at Stefanski getting out coach, that's what concerns me in the long term. I just don't heavy analytics in any sport. The Houston Rockets tried it all those years. How'd that work out for them?
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I get what you're saying completely.
It's like look at basketball. Golden State's fooled everybody. They think, oh, it's all about 3-ball. Well, guess what?
Right.
Golden State had the personnel to play that way. That's how they play. But doesn't mean all these teams out there are impersonating Golden State. They're not going to beat Golden State because they don't have the personnel to do it. You're not Steph. You're not Clay in their prime.
Right.
You don't have Kevin Durant. You don't have a Draymond Green that can facilitate. But it's just that that's just an analogy. It's the same thing. There's got to be like you play to your strengths. That's why I think a lot of people are like, we don't give Chubb the ball of this situation. I just wonder how much. Sometimes when I watch, I remember reading that, like I said, when they hired him, and I had concerns about that. Because I'm like, okay, I'll give you a chance. And sometimes he calls great games sometimes. And sometimes I'm kind of like, I don't know. How much is the analytics involved here? It just makes you scratch your head.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying. I'm still I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt for 6 games. Like Felix,
I will too. I think he'll be. I think with Watson, you're going to see a different offense. That's what they were gearing towards at the beginning of the season.
Right.
But it's
like
on
a lot
him,
of pistol, more RPO kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think Stefanski, you go look at what he did in Minnesota when he had, Kirk Cousins was better than Baker Mayfield, better than Jacoby Brissett, and he had 2 very good wide receivers at the time. They were pretty good. He did a nice job at calling plays. He's got Nick Chubb, but I think I want to see who does it. Watson's the most talented QB he's ever had.
Oh, yeah.
So,
by far.
My only concern with Kevin is, like I said, the analytics. How heavy involved is that? Because that concerns me. And also, who are you going to hire as your new coaches?
Yeah,
you need to go get like a Mike Zimmer. Go get a veteran and just leave him over there. You don't got to worry about him.
Yeah.
But let me get some of these comments. Dan said, bottom line today, Bills played one of their worst games of the season. We played one of our best, and we still lost the game handedly. Not even the same sport, and out coach. Yeah. Out hustled. I mean, just no heart, no nothing. The only time you saw heart was at the end of the game when the young guys got in. And Peoples-Jones made some nice catches, but he was trying to score a touchdown because he was back home. Jeremy said, Bills would take this team deep into the playoffs. Or, no, he's saying Bill Belichick would take this team deep into the playoffs.
Well, Bill's a defensive-minded coach, so probably. Well, I don't know. He probably wouldn't have had these defensive tackles either. Probably would have drafted someone different.
What do you say? Stefanski is a good coordinator, not a great head coach. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Joe, you're Lynch's boss. Is there any way you can mute his comments? Oh, gosh. Let's see. Jeremy said, new episode of Yellowstone is on. I'm out spending time with my sister while she's in town from Texas. Hope you all have a great night.
You too, Lynch.
You too, buddy.
Jeremy always gives you the Reader's Digest. Like, he gives you the long story. You know what I mean?
Reader's Digest.
Yeah.
I always thought of Lynch's like long stories as like, you ever seen those like weird magazines like at the grocery store? Like, oh, I saw President Obama shaking hands with a Martian or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? What are those called?
Well, the
tabloids.
Tabloids.
Yeah. That must be an interesting job. Lynch would be good at that. Just a tabloid writer.
No.
Where do they even do that? Like, you do it from home?
No, they just run out and harass people. Yeah, they probably do. There's probably people that sit at home that have no lives, and they just, write up dirt on people or make up stories on people.
The pyramids are ancient spacecraft. And I
a lot of that. Did you hear the stuff like on what a lot of this? Speaking of football, did you hear, like, I heard there was something this week that said Jimmy G has people like in his camp that put out news that talk about the show, how like headlines to say how good looking he is.
What?
Yeah. No, you didn't. I was watching the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show this week because they were talking about. Did you see when he was sitting courtside at the Golden State game? All the cheerleaders came up to him. He was like a star there. He's a star out there in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And he's obviously been seen in the past with some certain porn stars rather.
Yeah.
But that's what he's known for. But yeah, so they said there's like a thing out there to know that like Jimmy G puts out. He has people that puts out headlines in the media talk about how good looking he is or something like that. That's what they said. Like just to get buzz going.
I'll pay you $10,000 to say I'm handsome.
Yeah, but they do that. And that's all over Hollywood. Like that's what all these writers should talk about. That's what they do. They get paid.
That's hilarious.
That's where the shit's coming from. It's from the people.
Whatever happened to like men? Like men aren't men anymore.
No.
Gosh, what kind of dude does that? You know what I mean?
I know.
I don't know.
I heard that. I'm like, okay, aren't you worried about getting the first down or something? I mean, like,
isn't there things more important things to worry about in life than how the hell you look? You know what I mean?
Arguing with Kyle Shanahan.
Whatever happened, just finding you a nice, wholesome woman and just sticking with her. Not these guys that bounce around all the time. Mike, don't make me go get.
I am one shit.
Wait, what?
I said I'm good looking, but I haven't won shit.
Mike, this is for you from Jeremy.
I should be riding the bench.
He said, Mike, don't make me go John Dutton on your ass. Do you know who John Dutton is?
He's into this Yellowstone shit. That's where
it's from Yellowstone.
I watched one episode, and that's what that John Dutton's from that episode. So
is that Kevin Costner's character? Isn't Kevin Costner in it?
I watched one episode last year, and I'm not saying it was
my
a bad
parents
show.
love it.
It just wasn't something that.
It's not for you.
Yeah, I mean, I love the storylines. I just thought it was a little. I thought it was a little too realistic for my taste. You know what I mean?
I'm more of like a fantasy sci-fi kind of guy. That's what I watch a lot of. Like House of the Dragon.
Well, no, I love like true stories but it was just like I don't want to see a woman getting scalped and
Oh shit! All right, I didn't know it was like that.
yeah, it was just like it was from a distance, but it was just like you know what? It was a little too intense of a show for me. I turned something on like that. I don't want to see stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right, I got you.
I don't need all the violence. So
Right.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying bad to anybody else. I wish it wasn't like that because I would watch it. I'm sure the show's a good show, but I prefer not to have that. You know what I mean?
No, I got you.
So
I'm weird with those kinds of shows too. Like I'm not big on like crime shows. Like I never watched Breaking Bad myself. It just never like interested me. Something like that or
Yeah.
Ozark. I watched the first season of Ozark actually. It was pretty good, but it's not my cup of tea. But House of the Dragon's really good.
He said, Dan said Lynch ruined this comment feed almost as bad as drafting Deshaun Watson will ruin the future of the Cleveland Browns.
We didn't draft
3 years, no first round. They should have drafted him when they had the chance.
We should have drafted him, but I'm glad we signed him.
Yeah, they had to. You had no choice. If they didn't have Deshaun Watson, you imagine how bad it'd be right now.
Yeah.
And look at it'd be light years behind.
Yeah,
no,
they got a handful of years to make it pay off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's gonna be.
We finally have like a franchise guy. We just got to make it pay off.
You gotta make it pay off. If you just win one Super Bowl, it was worth all the money. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. It was $500 million.
Yeah. All I need is one.
Keeps you relevant,
they don't win. They are in deep shit. So it was a gamble.
It keeps them relevant. I mean, because if they didn't, like I said, imagine they'd be right now if they didn't have. That's the only thing that's keeping this thing going.
Yeah.
And other than that, it'd be absolute dumpster fire.
Oh, I agree.
It'd be awful. But
well, you could tell the temperature of the fans. Look, there was more Buffalo fans. All the people had to drive through Cleveland to get to Detroit. There was there's hardly any Cleveland fans there. That just tells you what the Cleveland fans are thinking. Damn, I can go up, sit in a dome, free game. I drive 2 hours or 3 hours. Damn, but no one's there. But the Buffalo people, hell, they drove 5-6 hours.
He said, a quarterback doesn't fix the issues we have now. The issues are mental and physical toughness, and our cap situation is doom and gloom in the future with our current roster. Well, our quarterback situation was doom and gloom, though. I mean, they had to. That's the most important position in all sports. You have to get that right.
Yeah.
You don't have a quarterback, you ain't winning nothing.
And
but
here,
I get the mental, physical toughness and all that. But the good
quarterback can change that, though.
Quarterback can change. He can change.
Quarterback can change that. Can change to a certain extent. It's just like when Tom Brady went to Tampa. They said as soon as the first day this dude walked in a locker room. Now I'm not comparing Watson to Brady, but what I'm saying is, he's certainly competitive. Watson's certainly competitive. He showed that in college, but that they said about Brady the first day he walked into Tampa's locker room, it just the players just were like, "Damn, this dude's for real."
It gives you a belief,
yeah,
right?
They don't have they've never had belief. They didn't believe in Baker Mayfield. They know Jacoby Brissett's limited. He's a nice guy, but they know he's limited. They don't really believe in Jacoby Brissett.
Right.
Deshaun Watson gives you a spark and energy. You know what he can do.
It's and not just level. That, but
now I agree with obviously the cap situation. They got to figure that out. But here, every team's got to figure out every year.
Yeah, the cap's not real. We'll be fine.
Well, sometimes the NFL too. You look at some of these teams, you're like, the cap doesn't matter. When you look at some of these teams that they pull off these moves, I'm like, wait.
I mean, think about it. Jack Conklin's gone. That frees up some money. Kareem Hunt's going to be gone. And
you have replacements for those guys already.
Yeah. And James Hudson's, when he's been in there, he's played fine.
Jerome Ford's
look good. Who else is gone? You can release JJ3 after this year, which I would, and I'd either draft a safety or find, like you and me were talking about, like Jesse Bates is going to be a free agent. Maybe. I don't know how much money he wants.
How many? Now you were telling me all the picks. How many seconds and thirds and all that they got?
So we have 1 second. We should get our compensatory pick from having Kwesi as the GM in the Vikings, we should get that third this year. So we have our second, 2/3, 2/4, 3/5, our own sixth, and no, we have 2/6 and no sevenths. We traded our seventh this year for Deion Jones. So we have like 8 picks.
I mean, here that's a good franchise, a good front office. You got to get creative.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to get creative with the cap. You got to get creative with your picks, with your drafted.
Andrews had some good drafts. I mean, DPJ, who I think is well deserving of a second contract. I mean, we got him in the 6th round. I mean, like, you just got to hit on some guys. If I was Andrew Berry, I would, focus heavily on the defensive tackle and like safety. I think that's our biggest needs. Maybe another receiver, but I would tackle like the defensive tackle position in free agency. Like I was telling you, like Fletcher Cox is available after this year. He's a little bit older, but maybe someone like that, like a good vet, maybe a Grady Jarrett from the Falcons. I like him a lot. Someone like that, just a vet that you could sign to like a 2-year deal.
You just gotta get creative.
Yeah, and then I'd throw like 2 draft picks at defensive tackle.
He said Jacoby is losing us these games. The sideline defenses. Deshaun is a losing NFL quarterback with a losing playoff record. Nah,
he's just a spiteful little boy. He's not even speaking logic.
Jacoby,
he's one of those dudes. He's one of those dudes that would have made the perfect Baker, bro. Because he's like, Deshaun's never won anything. He's not that good of a quarterback. Like, come on,
a lot of people in the league would say otherwise.
Quit it.
But
I like watching. I mean, I watched him in college a lot. And you remember, Joseph, we watching the draft. We want him to draft that dude, man. That dude is he's a winner. You know what I mean? And I didn't watch him a lot with the Texans, but here he wasn't. He wasn't with
Bill O'Brien as his head coach.
Right.
Is Bill O'Brien in the NFL right now?
I don't think he is anymore.
No,
I thought he was
Alabama coordinating. That's exactly where he is. He's a coordinator.
Oh, he's Alabama's coordinator?
That was his head coach.
I hate to go to college, but like,
and he was throwing the Walmart
Alabama
receivers, as his trainer said, Walmart receivers. His last year, still threw for 4,800 yards with no offensive line.
No, none, and no run game. Who was his running back? Was Duke Johnson still the running back over there?
Yeah, he was a backup. But he said, let's take a moment to realize that there is only one person on this career now who was actually alive the last time the Browns won the AFC North. Rinse and repeat.
At least I'm not jaded. I actually like the Browns. I'm sorry.
Well, Dan likes the Browns.
He does?
Oh,
yeah. I thought he was a Bucs fan. Oh, I didn't even know.
Oh, he does.
Absolutely.
I sat next to him for freaking 12 years. He loves the Browns. But
what are we going to rinse and repeat?
What's that?
What are we going to rinse and repeat?
I don't know what he means by that, but
I don't either.
But yeah,
we did last offseason. They rinsed off that 6-foot quarterback they had and got another one. I think that was a rinse and repeat. Not a repeat, but a rinse.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to get it together. I mean, here even Tampa. I mean, Tampa was the laughing stock of the league for forever and ever and ever and ever. And then they won a Super Bowl in the early 2000s. But you want to talk about, they were horrific. I mean, horrible. Worse. They were more of a laughing stock than the Browns have been for 20 years. But at some point,
your quarterback had 31 interceptions the year before.
They get it. At some point, a franchise gets it right. You know what I mean? At some point.
We're on the cusp, I think.
So, it's like the Cavs. At some point, the Cavs won. Yeah, they had LeBron, but at some point they're going to win. And I think they got a great shot of winning. You know what I mean? They just got to get
winning right now. Big.
They got a short window to make this happen. They got a very, very short window. You got all these guys under contract in their prime. This Watson experience has to work. And the dude's certainly talented, and he's a winner. But you got to have. I don't care what you have. If you got bad coaching, it just really doesn't matter what you got. You could have a Hall of Famer at every position, If you got terrible coaching, you're just not going to win.
No, I agree with that.
You're not going to win.
And 2 of our main assistant coaches need to go, which, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's all about your culture.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, if you don't have anybody, guys get up with other guys. Like belief.
Right.
Belief. There's
Well,
they haven't had,
do.
and it starts at under center. And you got to have belief. Now, if you look at what, I'm not saying it, I mean, just don't take my word for it. Look at what Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett and Mike, you see the comments, all these guys have said. Hell, he's only been back in the building for 1 week, and it's already, you're starting to see I think that's why Myles Garrett said what he said today. Because he knows.
Right.
It's like, time to go. Like, no more pissing around, no more, and that's on Kevin, too. That's on Andrew Berry.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I watched the guy in college. That shit don't go away. You know what I mean? You're born with that attribute. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You're born with that attribute to where that competitiveness and the ability to just elevate everyone around you. And it didn't go away. If anything, he might come out firing even more now because of all this bullshit against him. So, but that's what he's being paid $250 million for too. Not just throw the ball, but he's got to elevate everyone around him. So, and I think he will. He did it. He did it at Clemson. I mean, hell, who else beat Alabama? You know what I mean? And those were good Alabama teams.
Yeah, good defenses too. He threw for 500 yards, almost 500 yards on him twice.
But and I don't care that it was college because that's why the guy was drafted. That's why he made it to the NFL. What was he drafted 4th?
12.
12. Okay.
Miss Trubisky.
No, I think we had the 4th pick in that draft, maybe. But
we had you're thinking of the next year. We had the first pick. We had Miles, and then we traded back, or somehow we got to 12, and we traded out of 12. But Mahomes went 10, and then Trubisky.
Yeah, that year our first round picks were Miles and
Njoku
and Njoku.
Well, either way, I mean, it just doesn't go away. You know what I mean? That guy was a special player in college, and
he threw for 4,800 yards his last year.
Yeah, it just doesn't go away. So it's there, and he's going to make a difference.
Well, the raw talent's unquestionable. That's not even.
But again, they got to get
talent. I don't know.
They got to get the right coaches around him. So
he said it's hard to step into a job you haven't performed in 2 years, pick up right where you left off. NFL quarterback is no exception. Deshaun will not come in without some rust, and that rust will find Stefanski a new job somewhere as a coordinator next year. I don't know. We'll wait and see. I mean,
I don't think that's going to happen, but okay.
I don't know how much the rust there will. I mean,
I don't think the rust thing is real.
That's a hell of a game to tune up, though.
Yeah, I mean, he might be a little rusty, like the first, like the first series, like the first drive.
Your game feel
but
back.
That's it.
You're getting your game feel back. You got to get back in rhythm.
It's not like he's coming back from injury.
He's not a rookie.
He's not a rookie. He's not coming back. He's not coming back from like a debilitating injury. He's been around the team. He's been at practice. He's been, he played in preseason a little bit. Like he's been around the game. Like it's not like he's like was spending all this time rehabbing, like I think the rust thing is just like one of those things that media members are using to like as a talking point. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like a real factor.
Oh, if anything, it's all going to be mental. You know what I mean? Physically, he'll be fine. It's the mental part. Because there's going to be people out there still trying to crucify the guy, and so how's he going to deal with that? You know what I mean? But
he's got to deal with that. Then he's got to deal with. I think it's the mental capacity too for your get back in game. There's mental game.
Absolutely. Physically, he'll be fine, but.
Physically
the mental part is he going to adjust mentally? You know what I mean? Is he going to go back into the grind of playing in the league and all the other bullshit around him? So I think he'll be fine. I mean, you got to expect the rust, but he'll be fine. I mean, hell, Kurt Warner, when he came in the league, he was bagging groceries early in the season. You know what I mean? The guy
it should be said there's pressure on him too to make sure he keeps himself out of situations again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but here, it should be a good lesson for all these damn players. You know what I mean? Stay out of the strip club. Stay out of, you know what I mean? What the hell?
Yeah.
It's like, what, again, they slaughtered this guy. This guy was a, I don't know, he's almost like a sacrificial lamb. You know what I mean? I think a lot of this is for other reasons, like the Daniel Snyder thing. But I mean, if I'm a player, I'm looking at this guy and here, I'm not going to the strip club. I'm not doing this shit because it's the same thing. You know, they want to hammer this dude, but the people that are hammering him, I guarantee you, they were in a strip club last night putting money in the women's underwear. What's the difference? You know what I mean? What is the difference? There's no difference. So it's just a sad thing. You know, everybody hides their skeletons, but they're quick to attack other people when they just make a mistake or they use poor judgment. You know what I mean? So it's just sad. So I hope.
And the guy was wrong. I think the guy was wrong in terms of here you did it to yourself. Now whatever happened after that, that's obviously that's been this. I don't know. That's you know, we've talked about that many times. Mike. That's an opinion. I mean, that's he said, she said.
Hearsay.
You know? Yeah, it's hearsay. Nobody knows, but you can't put yourself in that predicament. But again, we know what goes on in professional sports. It's what's always going on. That's
it. Stay out of the damn predicament.
That's what it is.
You know what I mean? Because if I put myself in bad predicaments over and over and over, I'm gonna make mistakes. Every one of us will. You know what I mean? That's the first step. Stay out of the predicament. So hopefully a lot of these other guys around him learn. Hopefully he learned, but I hope the dude comes out and kills it. You know what I mean? You know, the way he was crucified by the media, and I hope he comes out and kills it because so many people want him to fail. I hope he comes out and just kicks everybody's asses. I hope he proves them wrong. You know what I mean? And I love if he does it. I love that it's in lowly old Cleveland. That just makes it that much.
I think
sweeter.
a lot of people were pissed off that he picked Cleveland more than anything. Because when he was that week when he was a free agent, everybody wanted him. Oh yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah. Here, if this dude was out in a major market, if he was in New York,
they were bending over backwards for him.
Or if he was in Miami, the media would not. You know what I mean?
If he would have went to Miami,
right?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, like Corey said here, Watson should have came down to the ATL.
Oh yeah, I never forget that day, Mike. You should have seen it, man.
Oh, dude, I sent him that meme. Somebody made a meme about Deshaun. It was said Cleveland 3, Atlanta 28, and it had Deshaun Watson in both jerseys. Get it?
He was talking so much shit at work, and I remember Joseph calls me, and I'm in the middle of it's like 2:00 in the afternoon on Friday, and I'm working a bunch of deals, and Joseph calls me and he's screaming, "We got Watson." The first thing I said, "Where's Corey's ass at?" And I stand up and I turn around and he's coming in from service, and he already knew. He looked like somebody. I mean, I'd never seen him look so defeated in his life. I mean, it was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, he's still mad. He said F him. He's still mad. It's all right, Corey. You got Mariota, Corey.
He was talking so much shit. Oh well, makes it fun.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
He said the worst day of my life, other than 28-3. Yeah, boy.
At least your Bulldogs won last year, dude.
He said I don't know if I could say it. He throws half as many touchdowns as Masseuses he has every year, he'll be well worth the contract. Will he elevate first, the locker room or his towel? Yeah,
give the guy a break. Good grief.
He's such a hater. Dan's such a hater. He's like he's a Tony Grossi Browns fan. He's the Browns fan that is just like always negative, gloom and doom.
Dan's probably sitting back there. He's probably sitting laughing as he's typing.
I know. I love Dan.
He said we are 5-6. We are 5-6. We are in playoff contention. Okay, you're still gonna be fucking ass next year. So what does it matter? Next, let's
Corey. Tom Brady's getting ready to start. He's. I think he just already. His streak just already started, man. You might as well forget it.
Yeah, you're not going. Just go home, Atlanta. I mean, come on.
Here, they beat us.
Right.
You know what I mean? They'd probably beat us in a They play if we played a 5-game series, they play sweep us.
I think anybody would sweep us right now, the way we look.
Terrible.
We can't stop the run. You can't stop the run. You ain't beating anybody.
Yeah.
No.
Look at this Cavs game.
Defensive tackles need more. But all right, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's time to wrap it up. Oh, we got one last comment. Deshaun Watson wanted to be in Atlanta, but they weren't stupid enough to give him a $240 million guaranteed rental contract that he will
But
never
that's not
re-sign
true.
with.
Oh, look at him. He's spreading fake news now, too, because the owner of Atlanta even said, why didn't he give me a chance to match it?
He wanted to match it.
Fake news.
He wanted to match
He's
it.
spreading it.
And the Saints wanted to match it, too.
Yeah. Dan Malot's out here trying to be CNN. Stop it. Stop it. Get some help. It's like that Michael Jordan thing. Yeah, stop it. Get some help. Yeah.
Oh, they were all catering to him left and right. Atlanta was the keys to the city. He had a Watson jersey made in his house with Atlanta Falcons.
I would venture to say almost any team in the league would have took that guy. If they needed a quarterback, they would have signed that dude up. You know what I mean?
When he was available that week, the headlines changed, and everybody was acting like this guy. You never thought anything happened.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, "Oh my gosh, it was a sweepstakes every day. Where's he going? We're at 24/7."
If the Browns didn't pay him $250, the next
He would
quarterback
never came.
signs it. Somebody's going to get that contract. Somebody was getting it. Somebody's going to reset the market. You know what I mean? So
the Amazon, the Amazon.
Yeah, the Amazon thing.
That's raising everything. The cap's going up. Everything's going up.
Yeah, well, here I don't give a shit. Here they win a Super Bowl. I don't care if they spent $500 million to do it. It's worth it. You know what I mean? But they're all in, obviously. So they gotta make it happen, or they're gonna be. Oh gosh, they're gonna be in the abyss for another 20 years.
Oh yeah, I think we'll be all right. We just need to make a few tweaks here and there, a few firings here and there. We'll be all right.
Corey said Watson won't change the Browns.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh,
don't worry. Don't worry. Desmond Ritter's going to
Amari.
fix all his problems. It's going to be okay. Where's Desmond Ritter been? How's he doing?
They haven't played him. I like Ritter.
I like Ritter, but they're stuck with Mariota. That's their boy.
Right. Corey would love to have Watson.
All right, Mike, you got a bet. He said if the Browns win a Super Bowl with Watson, I'll get my hair cut like Antonace's, and that is a penalty that I don't want to.
Dan, you can't grow your hair this long anymore. You silly goose. You're gonna get what's that thing for old dudes? Bosley. You got to get Bosley.
Corey said Ritter, baby. Yeah, you're gonna waste Ritter is what you're gonna do.
Right. I don't play that cat.
They're gonna waste him.
I miss Dan though. I for real miss Dan so much.
Atlanta ain't going nowhere.
No.
You got Kyle Pitts. That's nice. Until he leaves.
Yeah.
Until he leaves.
But all right, gentlemen. Any other buttons? Won't press anything else?
No, what's going on in your life recently, Mike? Everybody wants an update on Mike.
Oh, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Working bars still happening. Bunch of snags. But should be happening early December. Like we're closing in on open, thank God. Book of the week is still Swan Song by Robert McCammon. It is a thick book. I am not through it yet. And then I've also been reading Slavic mythology because I love mythological stories. It's like so much fun. And then I played the new God of War game. That was pretty fun. But yeah, doing good though. Living life.
You're a park ranger now, right?
No, I work for the conservatory. So it's the nonprofit that works for the NPS.
Yeah, they got you out there looking through trails and stuff.
Yeah.
All that in the cold.
I can't wait until I get to look for my first dead body. That's going to be some. Be like, Stand By Me.
5 and 6. The
What's
Browns
that?
are 3. He said the Falcons are 5 and 6. The Browns.
No, I know.
Isn't 5 and 6 a losing record?
Yeah, I'm gonna be bragging about 5 and 6.
I'm not. If you're bragging about 5 and 6, then you got some major league problems.
Right. I mean, We know we're 3-7. We know we got major issues, but I wouldn't be bragging about 5-6.
Hold on, your mic's going out a little weird.
Minus
Yeah, it's like stagnant.
the back?
Talk. I don't know. It's like you covered the mic.
No, I didn't.
I don't know what's going on. He said, "We don't have the talent like you guys have." Yeah, you're right. You don't a quarterback. Yeah, you know, and that'll show soon. If the Falcons and Browns combine, they still could make the playoffs. Yeah, they wouldn't. Mike would be heartbroken. And the mythological stories you love to explain to me. Your hope I'm Stefanski.
What?
And then, thanks to, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's for you. That's for you guys. I don't know.
I don't know what he's talking
But I
about.
do agree with the first part, though. The Falcons and Browns combined, they still would make the playoffs. Yeah. But all right, yeah. Any last words on the way out, gentlemen?
No? Oh, yeah. Joe,
Joe-
I'm going to call you right after we end this. So answer your phone.
Wait a little bit because dinner's in there.
Oh, by the way, we'll do this on the way out. Mike, what's your score prediction for the game this week? What do you got?
Oh, the game? The game.
What's your,
All right.
Which is the biggest one in a long time.
All
Hold on,
right.
I gotta. He said now he's saying the Hawks gonna whoop the Cavs' asses.
Oh,
no,
stop it.
They don't
Trey
have the
Young's
front
bald
court.
and ass ain't going to do nothing.
Right.
You don't have the front. You don't have the front court to compete with us. But go ahead, Mike.
All right. Ohio State, 68. Michigan, -27. Go Bucks. Michigan. It's going to be a fucking – they're going to murder him. It's not even going to be a game. Blake Corum is gone. I don't even know what they're going to do. As long as Ryan –
what do they do without Blake Corum? They
Yeah.
don't throw the ball well at all.
Yeah, no.
No.
I don't know.
Dan
And he was
said
up for the
Ohio
Heisman.
State,
That's
38,
sad. I
Michigan,
feel bad for the kid.
31. Dan said 38-31 Ohio State. I like that score.
That's probably more. I was being funny, but that's probably more realistic.
Yeah.
I was thinking the number in my mind was 41-24 Ohio State.
I think 20's nice. I think 20's being nice. I'm gonna say 34-16. I'll take 4 points off. I'll keep it over 20. I don't know why. I just don't. I think they're just dragging ass to get to the Texans game. But now he's saying. Well, first he says, Corey says OSU sucks. And now they can't hang with the dogs. Sure.
We'll see. It's okay. We'll be your new Alabama, Corey. We'll
You
take
became
all
relevant
your
recently. We get it. You guys have had a nice little run here the last 2 years.
Yeah, Georgia was good last year. I mean, he's talking that shit just like he did with the Watson thing.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We will see. I mean, don't worry. I mean, at the very least, Stetson Bennett is going to be like the most wanted quarterback in the USFL. He's going to go number 1 overall to the Pittsburgh Maulers.
Hey, Corey, Joy just said we can't be friends anymore.
You still got to win the SEC championship.
She opened the door to the sunroom, and she's just told me to tell you that you're in trouble, dude.
Now this is the coach, though. Actually, Dan just put a comment. I actually thought about this name because you said earlier, is there a coach out there? He says the Browns will finish 6-11. It's Sean Payton will be booking his flight to Hopkins for that Hassel money. Sean Payton is an interesting name.
I'm telling Aaron, that's what I'm saying. If there's an upgrade, they're getting rid of Stefanski. Is Sean Payton an upgrade?
I mean,
yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
give up draft picks though to the Saints for that.
He doesn't coach there anymore.
He don't
He got
coach the
fired.
Saints anymore.
No, but he's under contract. Anybody that wants Sean Payton,
I think he's available. He's available after the season.
He has 1 more year. You would have to trade for him this offseason. It would be not this season, but the next year. So you'd have to give draft picks to the Saints. Or with coaches, the rule is you can give the Saints money. Like you can pay them to get the coach. But no.
The question is, would you Would you want them to fire Stefanski for Sean Payton?
I mean, I think he would be an upgrade, but as long as because I'm just going off of the reports, everything I've heard and have read is Watson came here because he liked the offensive scheme. As long as it was cool with him and it wouldn't ruffle any feathers, sure. But he is an upgrade. It's just the logistics of that. And as long as Watson's cool with it, because you do have to give up draft capital or money to the Saints to get him under contract. And then it's, but I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind Sean Payton.
He said, ha, ha, ha. When Mike is lying, he says, I mean. Quote, I mean. Some things never change. Said you're lying, Mike.
Well, how am I lying?
I don't know.
If Sean Payton,
I don't get it.
at least the team would be playing with some attitude. You know what I mean?
Sean Payton was consistent. Yeah, I mean, he's proven.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they won every year in New Orleans.
You knew when you played New Orleans, you were playing a physical team, So Browns they're not physical. It's a soft team.
If they bring in Sean Payton, then just
start putting the bounties out again.
Just collaborate with Watson, who you want your OC to be, and then call it a day.
Put bounties out.
No.
I mean, we all know that shit. That's the same thing. They crucified Sean Payton. All the teams are doing that shit. You know what I mean? They're all doing shit like that. I mean, hell.
Sean Payton has forgotten more about winning than football. That's a fancy word to read about. Yeah, probably. Yes. I mean, that's the name. I saw that name this week because I wasn't keeping up with that. I'm not looking that far ahead yet, but I saw Sean Payton's name throw out there, and I was like, "Man, it's tempting if he'd take it." I mean, yeah, I'd do it because you have you know what you're getting,
right?
So, but as the Cavs are up 20 now, they're kicking the Heat's ass.
21, yeah. But all right, Joe, call me after dinner.
All right.
Don't you forget. I'll come to your house and give you a nice big hug if you don't.
I'll call you.
All right.
I know I'm hard to get a hold of, but I'll call you.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate everybody in the chat too. Shout out to Dan, Corey.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Jeremy. Love all you
guys. My mental health is already bad. It's always nice to hear from you.
He said, see you boys, my lot out. Salute to you. Tell the family said hello.
Yeah, tell them that we said hi. Love you, Danny.
Corey response right here. Fire.
Corey, I want some fire tomorrow, dude.
Yeah, Corey, get some fire tomorrow, Corey.
I'm fire all week.
Fire all week. All right, Mike. I'll see you.
I'll see you, gentlemen.
I'll talk to you in a little bit, dude.
Talk to you in a little bit.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
I'll see you. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into this live. This is kind of a random sports live, mainly about the Browns. We kind of went all about some other stuff. What do you say? I need fire. Saturday was a shit day for me. You'll get it back. You know how to do it. Just keep going. And later. Peace out to you, homie. Yeah, appreciate everybody for tuning in, watching this. Yeah, I mean, the Browns, if you think the Browns are going to the playoffs, I don't, you need to just be, checked on at this point. But regardless, we're looking ahead to the future. Hopefully, Deshaun Watson, they play well the last 6 games, have some momentum for next year. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of questions in the offseason, just not on the roster. But I think, like we said there at the end with Sean Payton, I mean, that's interesting. It's a wrinkle. So, I mean, I would do it for that kind of name. For that name, I would definitely do it. I think Stefanski's going to be fine. But Sean Payton's a little different ball game there. That's a proven coach who was excellent in New Orleans. So, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Happy Thanksgiving this week, and yeah, hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving and all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. I'm out of here.